In this video, we'll be completing the square to get the vertex form of the equation of a parabola, and we'll be doing this by dividing by a. The example that we'll be doing is complete the square to graph f of x equals negative x squared minus 6x minus 8. So the first step is to rewrite our function as y equals. We know we can take f of x out and put in y. And then, because we cannot complete the square if the coefficient of x squared is anything other than 1, we need to divide every term, both sides of the equation, by this negative 1 right here. So you always get rid of that coefficient and make it 1 before you start trying to complete the square. So I now have y over negative 1 equals x squared plus 6x. And then I'm going to move the constant term a little bit to the right because the next step, step 3, I'm going to add and subtract the same number that I get from step 3. So my next step then is to half the x coefficient. Now my x coefficient is the 6 right here. So I want half of that. I'll get 3. Square the result. So 3 squared is 9. And then add and subtract this number from the right side. So the 9, I'm going to add 9 and subtract 9. Now I'm going to be working with the first 3 terms and then the last 2 terms. I'm going to group those. So I have y over negative 1 equals, this is step 4, is to write the first 3 terms as the square of a binomial and then combine the last 2 terms. So the first 3 terms right here, we'll want to square root the x squared, that gives me an x. Take the sign of the middle term here, and that's plus. And then square root the last term in the trinomial, and that's 3. So these 3 terms can be rewritten as the square of x plus 3. And then I want to combine these last 2 terms. Positive 8 and a negative 9 is negative 1. And then finally, I need to multiply both sides by a to get the equation back to just y equals. So if I multiply both sides by negative 1, this cancels and I get y equals negative 1 times x plus 3 squared and then plus 1. So this is the vertex form of my equation. Now I'm going to graph that. Alright, this part in the parentheses, it's x subtract a negative 3. So my vertex is at negative 3, 1. And my A indicates that it's going to open down and just -1 times the basic graph, which means right 1 and down 1, and then left 1 down 1. Those are 2 points on my parabola. And then if I go right 2, I'll go down 4, and left 2, down 4. So my parabola looks like